Some games were simply born at the wrong time. They slipped under the radar, judged too quickly or overshadowed by bigger releases. But time has been kind, and today, they're remembered as true hidden gems, incredible stories, creative mechanics, and worlds full of soul that deserved far more love than they received. That's the beauty of the underrated. They were never bad, just misunderstood. Before we start, drop a like and subscribe to help support the channel. We're always digging up forgotten games, unique titles, and experiences that are truly worth your time. So let me know in the comments which game you think deserves a second chance, and let's dive into this journey through works the world almost left behind. Valiant Hearts moves you with its simplicity. Set during World War I, it shows the horror of conflict through the eyes of ordinary people, trapped in a world where hope feels impossible. Each character carries a story of loss and sacrifice, stitched together with rare sensitivity. It's not about heroes, but survivors, and that makes it profoundly human. Gameplay blends puzzles and exploration with a slower, meaningful rhythm. There's no rush, no spectacle, only the need to push forward. Every action, no matter how small, carries emotional weight. The game makes you feel the pain, the fear, and even the rare moments of affection that surface in chaos. It's a narrative built on subtlety, and for that reason, unforgettable. The hand-drawn art style is one of its strongest elements. Gentle colors and understated sound design create a melancholic atmosphere that holds you from start to finish. Each backdrop feels like a living painting, constantly contrasting beauty and suffering. Even without technical realism, it delivers emotions many blockbusters can't touch. Valiant Hearts is a tribute to those who suffered in silence, a reminder that even in great tragedies, humanity remains and true heroes are rarely remembered. It doesn't try to be epic, only truthful, and maybe that's exactly why it's so powerful, even years later. GreedFall is an RPG that deserved far more recognition. It fuses fantasy and politics in a mature way, tackling themes like colonization, faith, and morality with boldness. Every choice changes the course of the story and reveals the weight of decisions in a world split by power and belief. It's a game about ambition and identity, where no side is fully right or wrong. The gameplay system is deep and rewarding. You can resolve situations through diplomacy, stealth, or direct combat, and each approach changes how the world reacts. Dialogue is well written, and side quests hold genuine importance, expanding the universe and the dilemmas of each faction. Freedom of action makes it feel like you're shaping your own destiny. Its world is vast and atmospheric. Detailed cities, mysterious temples, and lush forests create a setting that blends European realism with dark fantasy. There's a constant sense of melancholy, as if the world is alive yet fading. It's the kind of universe that makes you want to understand its history, not just play through it. GreedFall proves passion and creativity can outweigh budget. It has depth, soul, and writing that respects the player's intelligence. A game of big ideas with the courage to explore them, that's what makes it special. Crafted with heart, it recalls the best days of the genre. Days Gone was overlooked at launch, but with time, it's become one of the most human and intense open worlds of recent years. It portrays a broken world where the danger isn't just in the creatures outside, but in the isolation and fear consuming people. It's a story of loss, survival, and the struggle to hold on to sanity when everything collapses. There's a deep melancholy in every empty road you cross. Gameplay blends action with constant tension. Riding through dark forest, facing hordes of infected, and managing resources create pure immersion. Every encounter is unpredictable, forcing quick thinking and adaptation. The motorcycle isn't just transport, it's a silent companion, part of the journey itself. Everything is built to make you feel vulnerable and determined at the same time. The world is huge and full of hidden stories. Camps, ruins, outposts, and wild landscapes tell fragments of a lost past. Day-night cycles transform enemy behavior, keeping danger always present. There's tragic beauty in watching nature reclaim what humanity left behind. Even in calmer moments, the unease never fades. Days Gone is about resistance, physical and emotional. It's about hope, about fighting on when there's no logical reason to. Time proved how unfairly judged it was. Beneath the criticism lies a powerful tale, full of soul, with one of the most heartfelt journeys ever. Concrete Genie is pure interactive poetry, a small game overflowing with heart and creativity. It's about loneliness, bullying, and the power of turning pain into art, of coloring what the world insists on leaving gray. The story follows a young artist trying to revive a forgotten city using magical paint that brings imagination to life. It's light but deeply moving. The gameplay is simple yet magical. Painting walls and creating glowing creatures that spring to life is one of the most enchanting feelings in gaming. Every stroke restores color and joy to a lifeless place, rewarding you on an emotional level. It mixes freedom and puzzle design naturally, turning every wall into a canvas. Painting becomes healing for the city and for you. Its visuals are spectacular. Dark streets contrast with radiant living art, creating a near cinematic effect. The paintings shine, move, and react to the world, making it feel like an interactive animation. Even without blockbuster tech, it has a visual identity many bigger games would envy. It's enchanting in both detail and sincerity. Concrete Genie is about hope, about finding light in darkness. It reminds you that art can also be a shield, a way of surviving when life gets heavy. It's short but unforgettable, one of those rare games that doesn't need budget or graphics, only emotion. A small masterpiece showing creativity and feeling still belong together. Immortals Fenyx Rising arrived quietly, but surprised with charm and lighthearted adventure. It blends Greek mythology with humor and discovery in a way few games manage. Bright, fun, and full of personality, it never loses its sense of wonder. Each new land hides challenges, secrets, and creatures that feel pulled straight from ancient legend. Gameplay is fluid and full of variety. Climbing mountains, gliding across vast landscapes, and fighting mythic beasts create an addictive rhythm. Combat is light yet strategic, mixing divine powers with skillful strikes. Solving puzzles and exploring the map always bring a sense of progress. It hooks you not with difficulty, but with curiosity about what's next. Visually, it's breathtaking. Every region has its own spirit with vibrant colors, warm light, and architecture worthy of legend. Its take on mythology is creative, with touches of irony that keep it playful. Even at its most epic, it never takes itself too seriously, and that's what makes it special. It delivers adventure with heart without needing to be grandiose. Immortals Fenyx Rising is proof that lightheartedness can still leave a mark. It doesn't reinvent the genre, but it does everything with such care and charm that it's impossible not to. Hellpoint was ignored by many who didn't grasp its vision. A sci-fi Souls-like, it mixes cosmic horror and existential philosophy in a disturbing setting. Everything unfolds on an abandoned space station where reality itself seems fractured. Loneliness is constant, and every step is taken with suspicion and dread. It's claustrophobic, enigmatic, and hypnotic. Gameplay is brutal and unforgiving. Battles follow the genre's essence, but with a layer of mystery that sets it apart. Futuristic weapons, rituals, and grotesque foes demand observation and mastery. Death is frequent, but every loss teaches something. The game doesn't explain, it challenges, making perseverance its true reward. The atmosphere is remarkable. Metallic corridors, interdimensional portals, and artificial light build a dense, suffocating mood. There's poetry in the fusion of sacred and mechanical, as if science itself became religion. Each sector reveals fragments of lore, while isolation remains overwhelming. It keeps you uneasy, yet endlessly curious. Hellpoint is far more than a Dark Souls clone. It's its own vision of hell. It gives no answers, only questions, and that's its charm. A game for those who like being tested in skill and in Elex II feels like a throwback to when RPGs valued freedom over polish. It builds a brutal, unpredictable world where technology, magic, and ruins coexist in fragile balance. Everything seems broken yet alive, and that's exactly what makes it fascinating. You're thrown into rival factions and clashing ideologies, and it's up to you to decide the course of chaos. Imperfect, but incredibly authentic. Gameplay follows the tradition of European RPGs, dense, full of systems, and with a learning curve that rewards patience. Combat is heavy but satisfying, and progress comes from persistence, not rushing. Exploring, negotiating, and understanding the world are just as important as fighting. The game doesn't guide you, it challenges you to learn its rules, and when things finally click, the sense of progress feels genuine. The world is vast and full of hidden stories. Frozen peaks, scorched deserts, and futuristic cities form a setting built like layers of history stacked on top of each other. Every corner hides rewards, enemies, or tough choices. The feeling of living on a planet that survived its own ruin is constant. Even without AAA polish, it carries a strong identity that pulls you in. Elex II is a love letter to classic RPGs, built more with passion than budget. The Technomancer is a sci-fi RPG that flew under the radar, but hides a universe full of potential. Set on Mars, it blends political intrigue, action, and moral dilemmas in a society torn between power and survival. You step into the role of a warrior who channels electricity, but the real conflict lies in ethical choices. It's a story about identity, sacrifice, and finding a place in a hostile world. Gameplay is intense and varied. Combat lets you swap fighting styles in real time, combining melee attacks with electric powers fluidly. The skill progression is rewarding and encourages experimentation, while missions allow multiple approaches. Even without big studio polish, the feeling of growth and mastery is constant. It's a system that rewards those who like testing and adapting strategies. Mars is portrayed as both bleak and captivating. Industrial cities, barren deserts, and technological outposts build a world marked by ambition and despair. Art direction creates a believable setting despite technical limits. There's a sense of isolation and decline that perfectly fits the game's themes. It's a harsh planet, but one filled with life and history. The Technomancer is a hidden gem among modern RPGs. It may lack the finish of bigger names, but it makes up for it with narrative, personality, and... Bound by Flame is one of those RPGs that never received the recognition it deserved. Set in a world overrun by demons and war, its hardest choice isn't between good and evil, but between holding on to humanity or embracing the power consuming you. The narrative is dark, filled with dilemmas and twists that keep you hooked from start to finish. A story of sacrifice, temptation, and the cost of strength. Gameplay mixes direct combat with classic progression systems. Every battle requires focus and strategy, while using demonic powers completely shifts the pace of a fight. The game allows different playstyles, encouraging experimentation between brute force and magic. Despite some limitations, there's a constant sense of growth and discovery, an RPG that demands focus and rewards dedication. The world is dense and hostile, with settings ranging from corrupted forests to ruined fortresses. The atmosphere is heavy, reinforcing the feeling of decay, as if hope is always on the verge of vanishing. Creature design is grotesque and imaginative, amplifying the infernal tone that dominates everything. Each new area feels like a step deeper into damnation. Bound by Flame reflects ambition and courage despite limited resources. It delivers intensity, emotion, and choices that truly matter, an RPG with soul, something rare. A Way Out is a game about connection, trust, and redemption. It tells the story of two fugitives who must work together to escape prison and face the weight of their pasts. What starts as a simple action title quickly turns into an emotional journey filled with tension and unlikely camaraderie. It's a narrative about two strangers becoming brothers, united not by destiny but by necessity. Gameplay is cooperative from start to finish, and that's the heart of it. Every sequence is designed to be experienced in pairs, whether locally or online, demanding coordination and empathy between players. Solving puzzles, trading gunfire, and even driving together creates something unique. Cooperation isn't optional, it's the essence. That simple yet brilliant idea makes the game unforgettable. The pacing is cinematic. Every moment feels lifted from a 70s prison escape film with dynamic camera work and a story that never stops evolving. Transitions between scenes are seamless, and the constant tension keeps urgency alive. Even with modest visuals, the character's charm and emotional build make it shine. It's one of those cases where heart outweighs technique. A Way Out is about more than breaking free from a place, it's about breaking free from yourself. A game that shows how cooperation can tell a story you'd never live alone. It delivers empathy, surprise, and genuine emotion. Rarely is something so simple also so powerful. Ashen is a quiet journey of solitude, trust, and discovery. Set in a world without light, it places you among ruins and creatures that feel like fragments of a forgotten dream. Everything is mysterious, minimalistic, and symbolic. There's no rush, no explanations, only the urge to keep moving, guided by fragile hope within the dark. Introspective and beautiful in its simplicity. Gameplay blends challenging combat with free exploration, echoing the Souls-like style but with a more human touch. The presence of allies, often controlled by AI, gives a sense of companionship in the void. Every encounter is tense, and every victory feels earned. Stamina and attack systems demand calm and precision. Everything is built to make you feel the weight of every step. Its look is minimal yet captivating. Characters without faces emphasize the universality of the journey. It could be anyone. Wide landscapes and soft colors create a contemplative, almost spiritual tone. It's a game that speaks through silence, letting the environment tell the tale. Each new area carries discovery and vulnerability. Ashen is about finding light within darkness, about trust without certainty. It mixes challenge and poetry with rare mastery, creating a journey both physical and emotional. It doesn't try to impress with scale, but wins through sincerity, a reminder that sometimes the brightest spark. Outward is the kind of RPG that doesn't treat you as a hero, but as someone ordinary trying to survive in a relentless world. Forget being the chosen one here. Hunger, cold, and exhaustion are as dangerous as any beast. It's an adventure that makes you feel the weight of the road, where every small victory is earned. A story of vulnerability, persistence, and learning. Gameplay is slow and deliberate, built to remind you that life in this world is constant struggle. Fighting requires planning, and even packing your backpack becomes part of survival strategy. No magical map, no easy saves. Every mistake costs you dearly. It's a game that teaches through pain and rewards through experience. When something works, it's because you earned it. The world is vast, bleak, and full of hidden dangers. Crumbling cities, hostile forests, and ancient ruins paint a picture of tragic beauty. Each biome has its own identity, and traveling unprepared can mean death. Yet there's freedom in that, the feeling of truly journeying, improvising, and surviving. It grips you not with action, but with the sense of achievement. Outward is a love letter to classic RPGs with a harsh dose of realism. It doesn't aim to please, it tests you. Imperfect yet full of soul, it stands out for its honesty. A game that proves not every journey has to be epic to be unforgettable. The Pathless is pure contemplation in motion, a game about connection, intuition, and balance between light and shadow. Without long dialogues, it guides you through sensation, letting wind, rhythm, and silence carry the story. It's about finding purpose in a world that seems to have forgotten its own, and the beauty lies in how it's all conveyed through movement. Gameplay is fluid, almost meditative. Running, gliding, and shooting targets to keep momentum creates a dance between control and freedom. No forced obstacles, no rush. The joy comes from motion itself. Battles against corrupted spirits are grand but symbolic. You feel part of the environment, not just a visitor. Its visuals are mesmerizing. Colorful forests, wide valleys, and ancient ruins create a world that looks like a living painting. Every hue, every beam of light has meaning and emotion. The winged companion at your side adds poetry to the journey, reinforcing themes of trust and bond. It's a game that makes you pause just to breathe and look around. The Pathless is about finding beauty in solitude and meaning in silence. It doesn't need words. The world speaks for it. A work that makes you think, feel, and simply exist within its journey. Sensitive and profound, made for those seeking more than action, seeking purpose. Deliver Us, the moon is a lonely mission in search of hope. In a future where Earth has been stripped of resources, humanity's last chance lies on the moon, and you're the one tasked with finding out what went wrong. The silence of space, the echo of footsteps, and the absence of life build constant tension. Every abandoned station tells a story, and every power failure whispers of the past. It's about saving the world, but also facing the void. Gameplay mixes exploration, puzzles, and moments of pure suspense. Zero gravity changes the rhythm, making every move its own challenge. Managing oxygen, energy, and equipment keeps you on edge. There are no traditional enemies. The threat is isolation and the vastness itself. It captivates through atmosphere, not combat. Its look is stunning, with cold realism that feels like a sci-fi film. Flickering lights in corridors, muffled suit sounds, and windows showing the cosmic void create total immersion. It understands the narrative power of silence and turns it into story. Here, loneliness isn't punishment, it's part of the tale being told. Deliver Us, the Moon is a melancholy letter about the cost of progress. It speaks of humanity, sacrifice, and hope with rare honesty. Short, yet it leaves a deep mark, as if the journey is more spiritual than scientific, a reminder that space can be beautiful yet merciless, and sometimes the greatest emptiness lies within us. Echo is one of the most enigmatic and overlooked games in recent years. Set in an endless, silent palace, it turns artificial intelligence into something psychological and terrifying. The premise is simple: the environment watches everything you do, learns, and creates perfect copies that mimic your actions. The enemy is yourself, one of the most fascinating ideas ever explored in gaming. Gameplay is methodical and unnerving. Cycles of light and shadow redefine how the echoes behave, forcing you to rethink strategies constantly. Every step must be calculated, as thoughtless actions come back against you in the next cycle. It demands patience, observation, and composure. No powerful weapons, no loud music, just silence, tension, and the feeling of being studied. Visually, it's flawless and minimalistic. The palace glitters in marble and gold, but behind the beauty lies something sickening. Every hallway looks the same, and that repetition creates claustrophobia. Subtle sound design and the echo of footsteps reinforce the isolation. It's both stunning and oppressive, making you doubt your own perception. Echo is an introspective experience about identity and repetition. It forces you to confront your actions as inevitable flaws and punishes you for not learning from them. Strange, poetic, and unsettling, it doesn't aim to entertain, it aims to provoke. When it ends, the feeling is like waking from a troubling dream, impossible to forget. Hellblade is a painful dive into the human mind. It doesn't take you to a hell of fire and monsters, but to a psychological one, where fear and guilt mix in constant echoes. Every step of the journey is a battle between reality and delirium, between what's seen and what's felt. It's not a game that wants to scare you, it wants you to understand the terror of living at war with your own mind. And it does this with almost unbearable intensity. Gameplay is minimalistic yet powerful. Combat is raw and weighty. Every strike feels like it carries tons, and the voices in the protagonist's head are an essential part of the experience. Solving puzzles becomes an exercise in focus, trying to separate real from illusion. The use of binaural audio is masterful, making you feel trapped inside the storm of thoughts. It's suffocating, but also profoundly human. The visuals are nothing short of striking. Every scene feels like a dark painting carved from pain and symbolism. Nordic landscapes, mystical portals, and haunting creatures carry deep emotional meaning. The framing, the lighting, and the close-ups are cinematic. You can't help but feel both empathy and discomfort, as if the game were a mirror of what we often avoid seeing. Hellblade is art, but it's also therapy, a journey that speaks of trauma, loss, and acceptance in a way few games have dared to explore. It doesn't offer answers, it simply asks you to walk side by side with pain. That's why it remains one of the boldest and most emotionally devastating works ever created. Get Even is one of those games that confuses you on purpose. It starts as a crime thriller, but the deeper you go, the more it unravels into something psychological. The line between memory and imagination collapses, and the game forces you to question what's real. It's a fragmented story, heavy with tension and regret, built on guilt. Nothing is simple, and that's what makes it so gripping. Gameplay mixes investigation and action with surreal undertones. Exploring spaces, examining evidence, and reliving memories builds a constant sense of imbalance. The main weapon, capable of scanning and manipulating the environment, reinforces paranoia and doubt. It's a mental puzzle, a story revealed piece by piece, demanding attention and patience. It doesn't hand you answers, it makes you dig for them. Its look is raw and unsettling. Environments resemble distorted dreams, frozen in time. Dim light, warped textures, and distant sounds build an eerie mood. Even moments of calm feel heavy, as if something is about to snap. Discomfort itself becomes part of the storytelling. Get Even is a study of guilt, manipulation, and memory. It shows how the past can imprison you as much as any cell. It's not a game that explains itself fully, but one that lingers in your thoughts long after. Proof that the deepest fear doesn't come from monsters, but from what we try hardest to forget. Dolmen is the collision of cosmic horror and science fiction in its rawest form, a game that blends the unease of the unknown with the brutality of a universe where nothing is trustworthy. Set on a hostile planet, it throws you into desperate battles against interdimensional beings and truths that defy logic. The tone is dark, cold, and relentless, as if the very environment is trying to cast you out. Gameplay is strategic and demanding, requiring precision in every move. Inspired by the Souls-like style, combat is heavy and tense, with a focus on energy management and timing. Any enemy can be lethal, while bosses test patience and perception. Mixing melee and firearms creates a unique rhythm, alternating between ranged caution and close clashes. It rewards observation, not rushing. The world design gives Dolmen its soul. Alien structures, pulsating caverns, and toxic atmospheres make for haunting scenery. Everything feels alive but corrupted, as if science pushed too far. The muted, irregular ambient sounds add to the isolation. It's a place that makes you feel small, lost, and oddly compelled to keep going. Dolmen is imperfect, but it has personality and courage. It unsettles you, pushes you, but that's exactly why it's memorable. A game that prefers to be strange rather than safe. A mix of philosophy and despair for those willing to stare into the abyss and see it staring back. Chorus is a journey between the spiritual and the technological, told through one of the most intense space experiences ever made. You step into the role of a tormented pilot, struggling to break free from a past scarred by guilt and destruction. The story blends redemption and self-acceptance within a galactic war that feels both external and internal. It's about fighting enemies but also forgiving yourself. Gameplay is pure flow, Flying the ship is instantly satisfying, with precise controls and aerial combat that feels like choreography. The speed and maneuverability are breathtaking, turning every battle into a spectacle of skill and spectacle. Gunfights are explosive, but moments of stillness add balance, mixing action with reflection. It's gameplay that sticks with you. The visuals are breathtaking, almost poetic. Colorful nebulas, drifting wreckage, and vast space temples paint a universe of dreams and nightmares. Light and shadow blend beautifully, reinforcing the theme of duality. You can't resist pausing just to admire it. Every starfield feels like a painting alive in motion. Chorus may have arrived quietly, but it left a mark on those who played it. It speaks of pain, guilt, and redemption with sensitivity, while never forgetting to deliver explosive action. A game that balances intensity and emotion with rare precision. Nobody Saves the World is an RPG that turns absurdity into brilliance. It starts with a simple premise, a nobody trying to restore balance to a collapsing world, but does it with so much humor and creativity that it's impossible not to enjoy. Each transformation from horse to wizard completely changes the style of play. Chaotic, clever, and hilarious, it makes you laugh while thinking this is too insane to work, and it does. Gameplay is addictive and wildly versatile. The transformation system lets you combine abilities in bizarre and unexpected ways, crafting strategies unique to each challenge. A rat that poisons paired with a muscle-bound healer? Here, anything goes. The game pushes you to test, fail, and experiment, and that freedom is what makes it special. Every quest is a chance to play with the impossible. The look is vibrant and stylish. Bold colors, cartoon lines, and exaggerated animations create a world that feels like a parody of traditional RPGs. Yet behind the humor lies a surprisingly solid game, with well-crafted challenges and perfect pacing. It strikes a rare balance between comedy and strong design. Nobody Saves the World is a celebration of chaos and creativity, a game that mocks genre conventions while delivering one of the most fun systems in years. It proves that innovation doesn't need seriousness, just good ideas and the courage to play with them. A reminder that being nobody can sometimes make you truly special. Middle-earth: Shadow of War is grand, brutal, and surprisingly emotional. Set in the Lord of the Rings universe, it expands everything the first game started, scaling it up to an epic war. It's a story of revenge, power, and destiny, but also about the scars such choices leave behind, a world balanced precariously between light and darkness. Gameplay is a spectacle of action and strategy. The Nemesis system remains its core, creating enemies that remember, adapt, and evolve. Every fight carries consequence, and rivalries with unique foes make the world feel alive. Sieging fortresses and commanding armies is addictive, but the direct combat shines brightest, sharp, fluid, and fierce. Visually, it's breathtaking. Middle-earth's landscapes are vast and detailed, with large-scale battles that feel straight out of cinema. The art direction and sound design deepen the gravity of war, while light and shadow add dramatic contrasts. Each battlefield becomes a striking memory of the conflict. Shadow of War is about sacrifice and obsession. A game that understands power always has a cost, and that victory can still taste bitter. Epic, yet grounded in humanity, it balances spectacle with emotion. Even years later, it remains one of the most immersive and ambitious fantasy worlds ever built. These games may not have broken sales records, but they achieved something far more valuable. They truly won over those who played them. They're a reminder that not everything needs marketing. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next lists. And tell me in the comments, which of these games do you think was the most underrated? And if you want to stay in this vibe, check out the video that's showing up on the screen right now with even more forgotten titles that deserve your time. Thanks for watching, have a great gameplay, and I'll see you tomorrow.